Yo, what's up guys? It's Luke here. Just catching some sun. Grounding in nature. Got my feet in the grass. Just chilling. Been out today, stocked up some fruits and veggies in. And just want to give a bit of an intro into what this is, what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to be going about things, and just a little bit of an insight on where this information is coming from and why. And just to start with, I want to introduce that I had a spiritual awakening in 2020, around the time that the C virus came out, and a lot of things happened that year. And it was very strange to me, like we had qualms about World War III going on with Trump and, the Korean Prime Minister, Putin and all of that. We also had many celebrity deaths. Two I can remember very well is the Caroline Flack one, due to the depression she's going through, and the Kobe Bryant death. They were two celebrity deaths that I can recall, and there's many others that I can't really remember, but if you know. And it kind of triggered something in me, just like, what's going on here? We had forest fires in Australia and the Amazon rainforest nearly burnt to the ground, and it was just triggering things in me, just like, what's going on here? Because there's no way that could have been a coincidence. That all of these things are just happening, and that there's no reason to them. It's just a random occurrence. It didn't sit like that with me, so I questioned my reality, and I started watching Spiritual Soul. Now, if you guys are going to be new to spirituality and you don't want to listen to me for a reason that I could be aware of, because I'm new to this, you may think this guy is just on a trend or something, I'm not sure. But whatever reason it is, if I were you, I'd go over to YouTube and I'd watch somebody who's been doing it for a very long time. Now, I watch Spiritual Soul. He's got a lot of very, very good information on there, and that helped me understand a little bit more about spirituality and the Matrix. And then I started watching Ty Spiritual eventually, and he is, in my opinion, the best spiritual YouTuber to watch. And the reason being is simply because he gives the knowledge that you are asking for, but he doesn't give you it in a full experience kind of way. Like, he won't tell you what you're going to experience. He'll just tell you what spirituality is and how things work. So what you do is you go within yourself and learn for yourself what he's trying to tell you, apply it to your life, and then from your own experience, you'll then gain your own insight without forcing an experience on yourself by imagination. Because, put it this way, if he was to mention, or a lot of YouTubers do it, they mention the experiences you can have. For example, astral projection. Me personally, I've never astral projected. Will I? I'm not sure. Do I need to? Not really. But if he was to tell you what you can experience and he is to list it, same as some other YouTubers do, you're going to get an idea in your head of kind of what it is that you want to experience, and you may force yourself to believe something that isn't necessarily true without feeling it yourself. So that's the person I watch, and he's the person I go to for insight, and I'm in his Discord, with many other spiritual beings in there, many other humans in there, just like me, awakened humans that have been through the process of awakening and are now looking for insight to further their journey. It's a brilliant world. It is an amazing life. To be here now is an incredible thing. It's beautiful. We've got all this nature around us, you know. All this nature. The trees, the birds, the sun, the sky. It's all around us for us to experience. And just to get in nature and be in the present and exist now is the best thing you can do to feel it. And the reason being is because we spend a lot of our time, and I noticed this because I work a job, roughly 9 to 5, not 9 till 5, but those kind of hours. And a lot of the time it's busy. You know, I don't drive at the moment, so I get the bus everywhere. And it's a very hectic life. You're always busy, you work 2 o'clock. You don't get the time to sit and be present with yourself and to listen to yourself, what you want and how you feel, because you're so caught up in the world. And that leads me on to my next point about social media and about TV and the music and the films that we listen and watch, and how that can also have an effect on our mental and on how you perceive life. Because I hate to say this, but we have been brainwashed and history has been tainted and we've been lied to. And a lot of information out there that we've been taught in schools is false. And they don't teach you the right amount of things, such as meditation. I wish I was taught meditation when I was a lot younger. And the reason being is because if you learn to meditate properly, the stressful things that go on in your life will only seem as experiences with a lesson, not, oh, why is this happening to me? It will be more like, this is happening to me because I'm supposed to learn from this experience and move on from it. Because your soul, it will incarnate onto this planet for you to experience the life here, to learn. We're in a 3-dimensional plane right now, and there are many higher realms, higher dimensions that many cultures have spoke of. Many religions speak on these, such as Buddhism and Hinduism. They both link to higher dimensional realities, and we are in a low dimensional one. It's dense, it's compact, and put it this way, your soul as life force energy is very light. It's not dense, it's fluent, whereas your body has limitations and it's very dense and you feel things that are stressful, and that's why it can get hard. But it can be so much easier to deal with that. I know that people deal with a lot of bad things in life, and you think to yourself, what's the point in all this? I want to end it, etc, etc. And yes, suicide is a very big thing in this world. Mass suicide rates are through the roof, for men and women, no matter what background they come from, because of how dense and harsh the reality that we live in is. But it's only that dense and harsh when you allow it to have that effect on you. When you allow things to bully you and to bully you into a state of fear, let's say. I'm not talking about the government, even though they do this. I'm not talking about the fake news and the truth that's been hidden, and how it can, you know, change your perspective on reality and make you think that this world's horrible. But it's going to be okay, and it will be okay if you trust in yourself and you trust in the universe, the cosmos, whatever you want to call it. People will relate to this as God, as the universe, as life itself, as it doesn't matter what you perceive it as. We all know this. There is something out there that started all of this, that this comes from, that this is. Now in spirituality, we relate to it as the universe, as God itself being everything, not a person or a thing, just everything in general is all part of one. It's all part of the same thing, the creator. And no matter what you try to relate to it as, in many different religions, different belief systems, we are all believers of this higher power. Now, the higher power that isn't the one that you should be perceiving it as, I wouldn't say shouldn't, because at the end of the day you can believe whatever you want and it's completely down to you. But the slave system that religion offers is not good for your soul, because you're not in a bondage where you have to do the right things or you're going to burn in hell. Because if that was the case, what would be the point of experiencing things? Because you're just going to burn in hell when you do the wrong thing? No. I personally don't believe this. Many people I've spoke to, they don't follow this kind of perception because they think, what is the point? So the way I perceive things, and many other people perceive things, is that a soul incarnates into a planet to experience things. And if it does bad things, well, the person, because you have a body, you have the flesh, and the soul within the flesh gives life to the flesh, to the physical avatar that is being operated by the soul, by the life force energy, not soul. You can call it the soul, but it's a very tainted word. So the life force energy in the body is experiencing what's going on around it. But if it makes mistakes, if you make mistakes, you're not going to burn in hell. And here's the reason why. Because you are not physical in nature. You are spiritual. You are energetic. Your soul, it doesn't have a body. It chooses to inhabit one. So therefore, you can't burn in hell. How can you burn life force energy? How can you go somewhere that's a physical realm when Earth is the physical realm that you're on now? When you leave, you're not in a physical reality anymore. So the things are not the same. So it doesn't have the same construct. So you can't have the same effect. It just doesn't work like that. And fear is the worst thing. Fear is something that drives you into misery. It's never good. If you're scared, it's never good. It's okay to be scared of things as long as you realise why you're scared of them, and then you overcome that fear. Overcoming fear is the hardest thing. I'm not perfect. I have things I'm scared of. I have a lot of things I'm scared of. I'm scared of wasps. I'm not going to lie. I love nature, but I am scared of wasps. Because since I was a child, I've always been scared of them stinging me. But that's up to me to look at that wasp in a different manner. Instead of looking at that wasp, for example, like it's a bug that has a sting that could cause pain, I should simply look at that wasp as a bug that is going through its cycle as an animal and just living and just doing what it deems necessary to survive. They're scared of you more than you're scared of it. And I've always been taught that, but never listened, because it's always scared me to get stung, because I had an experience as a child being stung, and that sticks in my conscious memory. And I'm always relating back to that whenever I see one. But fear is not all, it's not what rules, because light it's more than darkness. Darkness will never destroy the light. Light will always prevail. And the reason is, a metaphorical example is this. If you take a candle and you take a dark room, for example, and you put that candle in the dark room, the darkness will never dim the light, but the lightness will also shine in the darkness. So if you want to look at that in relation to spirituality, the light will always win, because it can never be shrouded. You can't get rid of it. It'll always exist. The light inside of you will always shine outwards, as long as you follow the right path. And this is the final thing I want to get into now, because I'm going to start reading very soon a couple of books. I'm not going to suggest what they are, because you really have to know what spirituality is and at least have a spiritual foundation to stand on for reading certain information, because your consciousness allows you to perceive things in a certain way. Your view on life and my view on life will be different, and spirituality, the view on spirituality will be different because of the level of consciousness you're at right now. So you may not be ready to hear that kind of information. It may seem like a farce to you, or it may seem like there's too much. You may take in too much information and get confused. I've been spiritual since 2020, so you think we're about to go into 2022. It's been nearly 2 years. I've accumulated many spiritual texts and knowledge into my life, into my head, consciousness, reality, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it. I'm ready for this information, which is why I want to read it. Because the information I'm going to be acquiring is information that's going to teach me about what has happened to the ancient information that we need to access to be able to ascend. What do I mean by ascend? Leave the physical body for good. Maybe come back in the future. Who knows? However, ascension is priceless. And a music artist that I listen to is Mr. Traumatic. And his music is not all good. Some of it is, there's a polarity in there. There's a balance between good and bad. However, a lot of the information he puts out there is very good. It's very good for spiritual knowledge. And if you need help and you listen to this information, it can guide you, because it will teach you that the truth has been hidden. Our history is not what we think it is. The Egyptians, the Mayans, our ancient ancestors in the Indus Valley, and the Aboriginals, etc. They had a deep connection to spirit. Their connection to spirit was so good that they was not like humans now, with all this suffering and this pain and this illness and this death. Because death is not a bad thing. Death is simply a process of transition from one thing to the other. Simply life force energy leaving a physical vessel is death. That person is not gone, because you can't destroy that thing. You can't destroy energy. You can only transfer it. So it can never be destroyed. And you are conscious, which means you are aware, which also means that you will still be aware once you've left the physical body. You're still going to be aware of what's going on. You're just not going to be on Earth. You're just not going to be on this planet. And this information is only out there for people who seek it. If you seek this information, it's out there for you to find, access, learn from, and apply it to your life. There's people out there that won't apply this knowledge. There's people out there that are just not ready to awaken. They're not ready to wake up. It's just not for them. It may be another lifetime, who knows. But for this point in time, it's not their time. And that's perfectly fine. It's not bad and it's not good, because that is referring logically to situations, and logic doesn't apply beyond Earth's realm, because logic is a three-dimensional perspective. It's a perspective that relates to applying reasoning to a certain situation. Like, this is bad. Why is it bad? It doesn't have to be bad. It just has to be an experience that needs to be learnt from. Sometimes I may make a video in the future, maybe in this video, I may have said things that are wrong. I'm not perfect. I may have got things wrong. I may have said things in a certain way that are hard to understand. But all I'm trying to say to you is this. Since I've awakened to the truth and gone within myself and started meditating and wearing crystals for energy balancing and grounding in the earth and getting sunlight as much as I can and just being in this beautiful world that we're in and spending more time here, My life has been the best it has ever been. I've done a lot of things in my life that are bad, and you know, I'm not going to get into them because they're personal, and I don't need to. All you need to know is that the person I am now is the best person I have ever been in my entire life on this planet. And I am so pleased that I chose to come here, and I am awakened now, because it's beautiful. There's so much more out there. We are so much more than what we've been told. And the more you awaken and the more you dive into your spirituality and you learn who you truly are, the more this will make sense. I thought I was in your situation. I was new to spirituality. I was so fascinated, like, wow, this can't be, this could be true, this can't be true, whatever. I'll just go with it. And now I know that when I was learning, the things I was learning that were hard to perceive have become so much easier to perceive, so much easier to understand, because my level of consciousness is raised. So my ability to understand certain things has become a lot easier. It's a lot better now. I'm still learning. We're all learning. I mean, you can be spiritual for 25, 30, 40, 50 years. You're still going to learn. And the reason being is because there's enough out there to learn, so that you'll never reach a point where you don't need to learn anymore. Because put it this way, if you were the universe in which you are, but let's say you're looking at it from a different perspective. If you were the universe and you had a whole vast amount of things out there inside of you that are there, and you are unaware of that, you would want to find out about it. So you would disperse, and little tiny parts of your consciousness would be leading to different things, and you'd be understanding different things and learning them and coming back to yourself. Let's say tiny fragments of consciousness in your head are looking at loads of different individual sources of information to learn from. It's all going to come back to the one, you, the body, the oneness that you are. It's going to come back, all this knowledge. And that's all the universe is trying to do, man. It's just trying to perceive loads of different perspectives so it can come back to itself and receive the information and learn about itself. And it's a beautiful thing. All you have to do is try meditation. Sit in nature with your legs crossed, just like this, in nature. No matter where you are, just be out in the middle of nowhere where there's nothing else going on. There's nothing to cloud your memory, your thoughts. There's no cars moving around right directly in your space. There's no music unless you're listening to miracle tones. There's no social media. There's nothing. And just sit and just be present. Just sit and just be present. That's all I can say. And what you'll notice is that you are a lot more than what you think, because you don't need concept to be alive. You don't need to be aware. You don't need to have the idea you're here. I don't need to see this post or see these trees, see this grass, see anything to know I'm here, and neither do you. Because if, for example, if Ty Spiritual said this in one of his videos recently, and it really resonated when I went back all the way to his first video, because I watched his first one and then I watched him all the way through, and then I went back and I watched his first one recently, and he said he's got earphones on. Okay, but let's relate to this as something else. So I have a crystal on right now. Now, don't say anything, just close your mouth, because this is what he said to me, or to the viewers. Close your mouth and tell me what colour this is. And if you can say what colour that is without moving your mouth, you will know you are more than what you think. Because you have consciousness. Something said it, and it weren't your mouth. It was something in here. It was you, but it weren't your mouth. So you're more than the physical vessel, because the physical vessel is what would allow you to talk with the mouth. You as a soul, as a spiritual being, as a part of consciousness, was able to say that without even moving a muscle. What said it? I'm gonna leave you with that question. What said it? And when you figure that out, you will know. You will know. There's a lot of things to do with spirituality that are hard to understand. And if you need information on what I'm saying, go onto YouTube now and just type in spiritual soul, or just type in Thai spiritual, because when you learn from these people who've been doing it for ages, there's a lot more reason for you to like take the time to listen to them. I know that I'm very, very young in this. I'm like a baby spiritually. I'm like 2 years in. I'm making videos now because I feel like I want to help people awaken. But I'm not the person who's going to give you all the answers, because the answers are in yourself anyway. They're all within, bro. They're all within you. Everything you could possibly ask yourself, you already know the answer to. But I'm going to leave this video here, and this is probably going to be the first but not the last video. I'm going to see how it goes. I can't post very, very, very regularly. I live a busy life, and I'm not always going to find the time. But when I can, I'll upload and, I'll shed the light, because I know there's a lot of people I've met in my lifetime who don't know me anymore. They think they know me, but they don't know me, because I'm completely different to when I was that person. And it's beautiful, man. It's absolutely astonishing how much you can change yourself when you go within, and when you start doing the right thing and doing what is right for you, and listening to your intuition and what your body wants and what you want. It's beautiful. And you can change your life, man. You can change your whole reality. Manifestation is just one thing it will just plunge you into a new world, into a new life, into the best life you could ever imagine. Just try to understand me. Try to meditate. Try to go within. Try to do research on these topics before you dismiss them. And just see how far it gets you. And if you find that it's not for you, that is fine. I'm not going to judge you for it, and you shouldn't judge me, because we're all experiencing different realities here. Simply, just try. Trial and error. You can't dismiss something if you've never tried it and you've never experienced it. And when you do, you will see. But I'm signing out for now. I spent some beautiful time in nature. I'm going to meditate for like 10-15, but not with a timer. I used to use a timer, but not anymore, because I like to do it naturally now. But yeah, I'm probably going to meditate and then go chill. Peace out.